So you're already pretty much an expert on procedure. That's great. You'll enjoy the conference a lot more now, as you'll know what's going on at all times. Now let's go more into detail on points and motions. In this episode of BIMUN ESADE How To, we'll be teaching you all the points and motions you can make as a delegate. After this, you'll have all the resources you need at your fingertips, and you'll be ready to be the best delegate in your committee. Firstly, what is a motion? Motions are actions taken by delegates that require support from the House and approval from the chair to be legitimized. A motion that is made by a delegate requires a second from another delegate to be put up for consideration in the committee. However, they are immediately voided if a delegate yells objection to said motion. There are several types of motions. Motion to move into voting procedures. This calls for the chair to skip speeches on the amendment resolution being debated in advance into voting procedures. Motion for an unmoderated caucus. This asks for a short unmoderated caucus in order to draft new clauses and sign them. This can be used if the debate is stalling a bit. Motion to divide the House. This is called when the amount of abstentions can swing the vote of a clause amendment. If accepted, the vote is redone through roll call with no abstentions allowed. Motion to follow up. This is made after having received a response to a point of information. It calls for the chair to allow the delegate to respond to the speaker and make another question. Whether it is in order is at the chair's discretion. Motion to extend points of information. This is called by delegates who wish to make additional points of information to the speaker. The chair can decide whether it is in order or not. Motion to make a friendly amendment. This is used if a delegate wishes to make a minor change to the clause or amendment being debated. It may not alter the content or objective of the clause or amendment in question. Secondly, what is a point? Points are the way in which delegates are able to express themselves when they are not making a speech or a point of information. They are able to raise points at any moment during the debate by raising their placards in the air and stating the type of point they wish to make. Only points of personal privilege can interrupt a speaker. All other points are dealt with once there is a pause in the debate. For example, if the speaker or chair is already done speaking. To make any point, a delegate must rise and address the chairs. There are several types of points. Point of personal privilege. This refers to a problem related to personal discomfort that affects the delegate's participation in the debate. For example, room temperature or audibility. It is the only point that may interrupt a speaker. Point of order. This refers to procedure mistakes done by chairs and must be made directly after the error has occurred. Point of information to the speaker. This is a question directed at the speaker once he or she has opened him or herself to such points. There should be no direct dialogue between delegates, so if the delegate wishes to follow up on the speaker's response, they should make a motion to follow up. The chair will then decide whether or not it is in order. Point of parliamentary inquiry. This is a point of information directed at the chairs that looks to resolve questions on procedure. It can also be used to define terms. Right of reply. A right of reply is a special rule that is invoked if a delegate feels that their delegation's integrity has been insulted in the speech of another delegate. When allowed by the chairs, the delegate who called for their right of reply should do three things: repeat what offended them, respond to the other country's comments, and lastly, ask them not to repeat it again. That concludes our Procedure Basics videos. We hoped they help you get a clearer idea on what being a delegate is like, and you'll feel more confident going into the conference. Thank you for watching. Please remember to check out the rest of our videos.